Hi guys, and welcome to Drift My Ride. Today we've got Tom's C31 Laurel and it's had a hard few days. Hi guys, just before the episode starts I want to let you know I finally got some Drift My Ride merch available. Head over to Craig Does Drift where you'll find hoodies, t-shirts and stickers. They're in sizes from small all the way through to 5XL. Everything is print on demand with international drop shipping, so you get your order through quickly and not have to wait for me putting it in the post. Anything I sell on the shop helps me make more content, and this shit's expensive. Hi Tom.
Hi Craig.
How are you?
Oh, I'm dying after 4 days on the trot of drifting.
Tom has been doing it hardcore for a few days. This is your 4th day. You're now up at the Northeast Drift Track. You've had 2 days at Driftland, day at Crimond up in Aberdeen.
Which ended badly, but yeah.
Which we will show you. So what have you brought for us today?
This is a 1985 Datsun Laurel. Datsun, Nissan, Laurel, it's badged as both and they're both on the logbook. It's really confusing and annoying. With a Skyline RB20 DE in it that was kind of cobbled together about a year ago. The night before Highland Matsuri at Golspie, which is when I first met you. And we first went out in this abomination.
This is not an abomination. This is genius. This is not what you would choose to build if you were wanting to just make your life easy. But if you want to be the coolest person in the pits, this is the car. As far as it looks, there's been some love taps have happened over the last few days.
A few. It came to Scotland tidy.
Yes. And now it's this.
And now it's something else. Not tidy, I think is the word to use.
Could we call it a missile car now? Or is it...
I make a point regularly that I don't like missile cars. I don't like beta cars. Like, make your car presentable. It's not that hard. And the only reason I'm still driving this in this state is because I've spent all my money. I'm 12 and a half hours from home. Like, hell am I not driving this event? And the guys here are nice enough to let me drive it, so I'm happy.
What have you had to do to make this car? Because it looked worse.
It was worse. We've pulled almost a foot out of that corner, straightened the chassis leg.
The front corner,
the front left of this car, the passenger side has. I hit a barrier at Crimond yesterday and just square on into the pole in the middle of all the tyres. So the whole front left corner got pushed probably a foot and a half, 2 feet back in, and it kinked the chassis leg over, it's kinked the bulkhead. Like, this car is now scrap as far as I'm concerned. It is not savable for a reasonable cost. I went home, I went back to the hotel last night and I bought another car to replace the shell, but we pulled about a foot out of the front corner to get it drivable. I did a parade lap at Crimond yesterday, which they were nice enough again to let me do, just to go out and show it still moves. It drives surprisingly well here today, but I can't tell if that's because I'm numb to how bad it is now.
These are lots of excuses for me as well, by the way, guys.
That's it. It's a hard car to drive on a normal day.
So, it's an RB, but it's an NA. It's not like it's not a turbocharged one,
so
is it?
It's an RB20 DE out of a 1992 R32 Skyline that my friend George owned. The engine had been manual swapped in Japan, had evidence of being drifted in Japan. George drifted it for a year and a half in his Skyline, Liddon, he's local down there. Got bored of it, put a 25 det in his car, it sat in a bush for 6 years, and then he sold it to me for £200, and then it went in this. So
is it all wired in to the gauges here? Have you got everything, or some of it, is it?
It was. So I had an alternator issue a little while ago, and and some earthing issues, and it caused some back feeding, and I've now got no gauges, no lights, no anything. The charging system doesn't work anymore.
So there is no alternator in this car.
There's no alternator anymore. No, it's in there, but it doesn't do anything. The belt squeaks. That's what it does.
It's a noise. It's a noise up there.
Yeah, it makes a noise. So yeah, I've got no charging system, so I actually use my tow car to charge the batteries and just cycle them.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Like, how long will the battery last in this car?
The battery that's in it right now is out of my old Land Cruiser, and I can do probably 4.5 hours of driving on, which is amazing. So I can do an entire drift day on one battery, which is great. But if you decide to use the wipers or the lights or anything, it dies much faster, and it's a much worse car at that point. It's bad on a good day, and then it's bad on a bad day. But it's good fun. Yeah,
so like you have like there's somebody who's smiling in the pits, and it's always you, and you've done a bunch of things to make that, because there's a lot. You've got to put a lot of work into this car to make it do its things, but you've given it a couple of little things that make things easier. So there's a bit of a lock kit that's on here.
Team Hanging Loose, maybe some knuckles, loosely based on B knuckles. I've got a pair of those in my 14. I like the way they drive.
Yeah.
So similar knuckles in this, and surprise, surprise, they drive really good.
Yeah.
As good as they can. This has got a stock rear axle in it, which is a beam axle, and the bushes are from the 80s, and the shocks and springs are kind of unknowns. They were on the car when I bought it, but it sits really well, so I've just never changed them. But it means the handling characteristics are a catastrophe. It tips in, the knuckles do everything, it feels lovely, and then the rear just goes, what's grip? And then all of a sudden you're round. So I run really low rear pressures to give it some side bite and some cushion, so it becomes drivable. And when you drive it later, you'll notice it axle hops as it starts to grip up in. It's bad, but it's fun.
Now that front angle, the kit that you've got in there, so it's a S13, am I right?
So this is a factory steering box car. This has now got a 13 subframe rack, 14 arms, 13 coilovers. It's a full 13 front end, because A, parts are easier to get, and B, it just feels so much nicer, and there's not 20 turns lock to lock.
Is it a bolt on? Is it just no? It's not a bolt on.
Like the subframe bolts in, because Nissan only use 2 chassis leg configurations, so that a wide subframe fits. But all the rack and stuff, like the car isn't designed to take it, so there's a few brackets welded on and a few modifications made to make it functional. And it works.
Yeah, and you got some mega camber in the front. You're reckoning
it's about 9 degrees up front because of the 14 arms, and the strut towers are narrower on a Laurel than a 13. So they just fall over. Plus, I like the way it looks. Yeah, because I'm an idiot.
Well, now the wheels in this as well, they're super cool. They're period kind of. The whole car is like the right stuff from the right age, or it looks like it is. What are you running?
So when I bought the car, the first wheels that I bought were a pair of Advan A3As on the front. It had a set of British slot mags off a Reliant Scimitar on it because they're the right PCD, and I went, no, it needs like A3As, Advans on the front, because I just love them. And I did the first event with the Advans on the front and the slot mags on the back, and it worked okay, but it still had the steering box and it was awful. And then I think I was scrolling through Yahoo auctions, and a pair of SSR Mark IIs come up, and I've never been that interested, for like, I think it was like 2,000 yen or something, or 20,000 yen. It was £30 or something ridiculous. I was like, yeah, I'll buy them. And they turned up a week later in air freight, and I was like, oh, they've got 120 quid, and it happened again a week later. So I've got like 8 SSR Mark IIs for the back, and none of them have cost me more than £100. They're so cheap. And people wince at the fact that the rears have both got bent barrels, one's got a bent lip, because I use them like people use rotors, but they take the hit. I can buy lips if I want to. So it's A3A front, Mark II's rear.
What size are they? What is the
14x6 all round. The rears that are on it right now are 6.5s. They're my wide set. And
the big grip set.
The big grip, yeah. They are the BDC setup. And, with their 185/60 14 tyres on them. But they are, they're appropriate, the right size. They look pretty cool on it. The rears normally have spacers on. I forgot them. So I've got sunken in rear wheels, which makes me wince because it looks really bad, but it is what it is. So
is the entire interior of this standard? They got like we got a
so it's got a brake bias valve in it. It's got, this is some stuff that you haven't seen actually.
Okay.
So in here
there's a hydro.
There's a hydro plumbed into the stock handbrake. Unfortunately, I blew a rear, so it's got rear drums in it. I blew a rear cylinder.
So that doesn't work.
So this doesn't work, and the rear line is clamped off with mole grips.
They're
just cable tied up.
So it's clutch kick city.
It's only clutch kicks and shift lock.
Yep.
It's the shift lock has returned, and yeah, it's hard to drive, to say the least.
Now we only need one gear though.
Yeah, it's got a 3/7 diff in it and Skyline ratios. So first is like 45. So for here at Northeast Drift Club, it's first.
Yeah.
First is your only gear. Second to cruise up the straight, back into first, dump the clutch, shift lock it through, and then just back on the power and keep clutch kicking. And second tops out about 86 wheel speed.
86.
But because it's got no rear brakes, it will do second gear limiter burnouts at 86 mile an hour wheel speed. So it smokes like a BDC car if you want it to.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's anything left to do then, apart from see if this is going to be the most challenging car I've ever driven. There is actually a drift car. I've driven some cars that were terrible to start with.
I was going to say the K-Truck was up there, but I think this is it.
There were some things that were never meant to do this, but this, and I've seen you drive it, so I have a barrier here, which means I need to be able to get this thing like a few corners together.
You'll be able to
One transition I'm hoping for. So, right guys, let's see if we can do it. Safety in this car might go together. I think we might be lying. Right, I don't quite fit in it.
You can open the sunroof if you want.
Yeah, I should open the sunroof. Yeah, let's. We hope we'll be fine.
Yeah.
You ready? Yeah. I have no idea how this is gonna go. Right. What first gear? Leave it in first.
Leave it in first.
Right.
Whole time.
What am I gonna have to do?
Right. So the bottom corner.
Yeah.
Come in slow, clutch kick, and then just try and figure out how much throttle it needs, because it needs all of it.
Okay, right.
And it'll just lock the fronts up. The brake pedal is really sensitive.
You move about so much in your seat.
Yeah,
I'm like holding onto the steering wheel while trying to drive.
My hand on the door is like my system.
Actually, what I think might be easier is if I go to the right, then I'll lean on the door.
Yeah, go for it. I don't know.
I'm going for a handbrake that doesn't exist.
It's when you realise how much lock it's got as well. Like it just, we spanned, but we didn't.
Right. Okay, Craig, come on, you got this. I should have spun out there.
Yeah, mate, it's got so much lock.
Right, Craig, I've almost done. I got the transitions. I was quite happy with that. And the engine's got go.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Momentum is so much more important in this than anything else. It's got loads of lock and nothing else going for it.
It's so hard work.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in your seat in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to try and put the front brakes on to make it dig in, but they're just not happening right. two things.
Yeah.
You've got stack loads of luck and a clutch kick.
Yeah,
And that's the only
all
thing
you've
you
got.
can do. And then just overcommit as much and
Yeah.
go, this is never going to work. It's never going to work. I'm going to die.
It only makes power above 5 grand. It's useless otherwise.
Oh my
so it's just got to
God.
be up there, and that's all you can do.
This is absolutely hilarious, dude.
Kick its
Yeah,
head in.
you know what? I didn't do an entire lap, but there's no way I'm going down
can't
the
link
straight
the
in
back
there.
straight, no.
No way. So, thank you, dude.
No worries.
And yeah, guys, oh, that camera's been off most of the time. That's a slight issue. I'm sure this one will do fine though. Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Tom, this has been a pleasure, and yeah, if you could do a like, share, and a subscribe, that'd be awesome. See you there, guys. Bye bye.